And TIA, started looking, as early as a year and a half back, that we can use fixed wireless in cases where the cost is so severely high. So you can get areas that maybe have a $2,000 to $5,000 cost per home. If that number starts getting up above $8,000 or $10,000, then you need to seriously look at something, because for every home you spend $10,000 on, you can pass 5 at 2. Louisiana was the first one to bring BEAD to the market, and Louisiana looked at the total amount that they had to the subsidy to pass homes, and it was clear if they used fiber for everything, they would not pass 100%. They'd miss it by a long shot. So they started to look at ways to still ensure that you get quality, but at the same time, they let their money go a little bit further. We felt that if we're going to use fixed wireless and we're going to use the unlicensed, we really needed product to be worthwhile doing that. And the only way we could get to a gig or 500 meg, depending on where they are in the tower, would be to use Tarana gear, because the other gear just doesn't have that throughput, and certainly not at that distance. So that's how we arrived at doing it. Obviously, when the bidding first started with Louisiana, there was some uncertainty, but we got selected and we won. So to my knowledge, we're among the first in the country to win BEAD bids with spectrum, fixed wireless on spectrum that's licensed by regulation, that most of us would know as unlicensed 6 months ago before a regulatory twist. So that's sort of how we approached it. One was efficiency. We're looking to cover as many people as we can. 2, Louisiana really encouraged us to think of ways out of the box of doing this if the cost was very, very high. When we put 2 together, we bid and we were successful at it. It's the crack in the shell of this where fixed wireless is not an alternate or some type of secondary piece. It has its place. It doesn't replace fiber. Like, you need fiber to get the fixed wireless. We need point to point. But from a cost efficiency side, the practical reality is that we need to cover homes within some framework that has return on capital. In some cases, it doesn't pay to build fiber, but that doesn't mean that we can't approach those areas and do it with very high quality fixed wireless. I've been in wireless for 43 years, so I've seen a very broad swing from barely connect with anything and no data to what we have now, and it's an outlier. It's very, very different. Where we can build fiber responsibly, economically responsibly, we do it. Where we can't, we use Tarana. That's how we wound up with this, and it's really what brought us to the BEAD, is that we got beyond the confines of economic feasibility for fiber, and this was the answer. Get involved in the granular process, because the input that you give them while they're doing this could very well be the grant that you win and live with for 10 years or more. So it's really worth being part of the process, and they're very willing to accept you, being a formative interest party to doing that. Your voice helps them understand it. We're the experts in the industry. They're not. They have some people that are familiar with the industry, but collectively, we have a very, very large role in helping them formulate policies that are good for us and good for them, because we have the same goal.